Sir, if all financial powers are distributed to the states and all sources of taxation are divided between the states, then how is this to be done? Therefore, even though the government of India collects several taxes, it is not as if they are all used for central government purposes. They are transferred to the states and not transferred in any way. A finance commission sits every 5 years and they suggest how it is to be done, and that is accepted. Then there is again the planning commission. If the country is to develop as a whole, unless there is a central planning commission, the states will go on doing things differently for different areas, and there will be, I am afraid, not development but cancellation of each other's development. That can happen. We see what quarrels we have about the distribution of waters, about the question of the sales tax. There is a demand that the sales tax should be converted into an excise tax. We have said we should like to do it. I have always believed in it. But unless the states agree, we cannot do it. And I do not want to take away that power of the states. Therefore, we have to go on persuading them. If they agree, then a lot of corruption and a lot of harassment to people will have gone. But there are states which are well do it, and there are states which are not well to do. The well-to-do states do not want this conversion, the others want the change. Now we are not thinking of the whole country. All the states do not think about it. When they begin to think about it, I am quite sure that things will be solved much more easily. But we have to work for it. Should we not see that there is a binding link for all the states, which see to it that there is no division of the country on any account? And if that is also one of the purposes of the central government, it must have powers which enables it to do so. Can the military be distributed between the states? It cannot be. But what is the demand here? When the question of law and order comes, the opposition wants to blame the treasury benches for its deterioration. The position under the constitution is that the states are responsible for law and order, but the opposition insists that we must act. Will you enable me to act in that manner? I would not like to take away those powers. We should help them in a manner to promote their interest in the state itself. And where the states fail to maintain law and order, would rather change the government by having elections. That is how the people will come up, otherwise they will not come up. Ultimately, our strength lies in the strength of the people. On the question of the reorganization of a state, we know what happened. These are the things which happen in this country. Today, wherever you turn, you find there is the desire for division, not unity. Should we not change it? Will the states be able to do it by themselves if they are left free? If the central government has to keep themselves back, will they be able to do it? We are not yet able to agree on a common language for all of us because we have rich languages in every state. In a big country like ours, this is inevitable. Before freedom, most of the people from all parts of India had agreed. After freedom, it is a matter of controversy. That controversy also is to be resolved by common consent, and we have to work for it. We have to go on struggling for it. But who is to work for it except the center? Will the states work for it? They cannot do it. The arrangement in the constitution is that it is like a necklace of pearls or diamonds. The string which goes through the necklace gives it strength and gives it beauty. If that string breaks, then all the pearls goes and they lose their value. That is what happens, and that is the function which the central government ought to perform. The function of the government of India cannot be to dwarf the states. It is to strengthen states, and it is in strong states and in a strong center that the advantage of a country lies. The interest of a country can be preserved only when both are strong. This demand for removal of these powers or those powers is not intentionally made for any other purpose. I hope except to see that the states become stronger. I can understand that position, but it can be taken advantage of by some people to see that the country breaks. Then we shall not be able to do anything concrete here. The main purpose of the United Nations is to build up a world without war, a world based on the cooperation of nations and peoples. It is not merely a world where war is kept in check by a balancing of armed forces. It is much deeper than that. It is a world from which the major causes of war have been removed and social structures built up which further peaceful cooperation within a nation as well as between nations. In the preamble of the Constitution of the UNESCO, it is stated that war begins in the minds of men. That is essentially true, and ultimately it is necessary to bring about the change in our minds and to remove fears and apprehensions, hatreds and suspicions. Disarmament is a part of this process, for it will create an atmosphere of cooperation. But it is only a step towards our objective, a part of the larger efforts to rid the world of war and the causes of war. In the present context, however, disarmament assumes a very special importance for us, overriding all other issues. For many years past, there have been talks on disarmament, and some progress has undoubtedly been made in so far as the plans and proposals are concerned. Still, we find that the race of armaments continues, as also the efforts to invent even more powerful engines of destruction.